Hello, beautiful stars. Courtney here with Stars of the Morning Light, and this is a new episode, never done before, of Hey You. Yeah, I'm talking to you. Hey You. I didn't know what I wanted to entitle these, what this will be. This is me basically recapping a bunch of stuff that's been said here many a times, but is apropos to the current energies. And some of you don't know that hey and then you were my first two words. So little baby Courtney, those were her first two words. So I was thinking, well, let's go back to the beginning. Let's go back to the beginning and make it real, real simple. Hey, you. Good to meet you. So I'm going to be covering a few different things today. One of them I is just going to be a brief suggestion. Do as you may. But right now, we are living in a time period that, because of all the algorithms and AI and whatnot, our mind is bombarded with all sorts of things. And I know there is actually many people, especially different pockets of generations, that feel it is definitely somewhat of an obligation, a responsibility to watch the news in its entirety. Because of the bombardment, because of all the nonstop of the scrolling of everything, and the feeling that one must participate in the knowing of what is happening. This is a suggestion because our minds right now cannot handle the overload. And it is a mechanism, it is a part of a system that is to keep you from utilizing your mind for other things at other time. It does break you down. It breaks you down. Period. It breaks you down. And we need our minds. We need our minds more now than we ever have before, right? So, our beautiful consciousness. So, a suggestion, because I'm not saying don't watch the news. There's a lot of people that can stay away, and then there's a lot of people that struggle. This is a suggestion. So it's not an entire bombardment, right? Take your top two topics, right? There's so much going on in the world, not just here in the States where many of the subscribers here are in, the whole world. There's a ton of things constantly happening, constantly being fed. So I suggest taking your top two, the top two things that you care about most, and just focus on what's happening with those. This is a suggestion because many people that maybe had stayed away from watching the news, they are definitely back in full effect. Or there are people I'm watching um mentally kind of disintegrate away with all of the programming that is designed to keep us in judgment, anger, fear, all of it. So I humbly say, if there isn't a full walking away, right? Because I understand. Choose your top two. If the war over in the Middle East, if that is one of your top, then just pay attention to the news on that. If all the different, take one of the political things here in the States, like what's happening with FDA, or what's happening with the Board of Education, or what's happening, I don't know, with ICE, whatever's happening. I'm recording this in October 2025. I'm suggesting take your top two and only follow them. Only follow those. So then you can feel like you're still contributing, you're still paying attention, you're in the know, but we're not trying to follow all of the algorithms and all of the stuff that is designed to disintegrate your mind, to trap your consciousness. Let's not do that. Let's not do that. So take your top two if you feel you must and just follow those. That's it. If another headline comes up, nope, 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 nope. You only follow the two main ones that you're the most passionate about. And if you're saying you're passionate about everything, really sit with yourself. There's going to be two. There's going to be two that you're more worried about than others because they hit home more. So that is a suggestion because it's just going to keep escalating. It truly is. We're not even in 2026, y'all. Come on now. Take care of yourself. Take care of that beautiful mind, that beautiful consciousness. Please. Please. The the point that I'm trying to make here. We talk a lot about obtaining higher consciousness, higher awareness, what have you on this channel. First, before that is even achieved, one must be conscious in their everyday life, right? One must be conscious to make good decisions, to make good choices for them and others. One must be conscious when behind the wheel of a car, while operating anything, in communication with others. One must be conscious there first in our everyday life to even begin to obtain higher consciousness, right? One must do that. We're human first. We are human. We are living a human experience. We chose to do it. It's the most delightful thing ever. We're human. So we have to have the conscious human mind in full glory and operation and moving about and making decisions and choices productively before higher consciousness can even settle in fully. And the media, the algorithms, the totality of all that we witness and see from subliminal messages to bold in your face is to keep you unconscious, to keep you unconscious of all your life matters. How does it keep you unconscious? It traps you in judgment, traps you in fear, traps you in grief. So we catch our thoughts, we shift our focus, and we choose to, out of all the stuff that's going on, to only focus on because we cannot take it all on. Not in these current energies of all the great potential of actual higher conscious awareness to be funneling through. I hope I'm making sense. I mean, think about it. When, let's say, someone does a criminal activity or someone does something even just to a friend that's not so kind, and then our common language with that, when we start to feel like remorse, guilt, we say, "Oh, I have my conscience got to me. My conscience got to me. My conscience is making me see this different." That's being human. That's just human. And we're not even allowing that to be fully intact within ourselves because we're allowing the distractions. We're allowing the distractions to keep our minds preoccupied. We gotta bring it back to the heart. We got to bring it back to the heart. So, human consciousness first. Clear choices, clear thoughts, clear communication, all of that. So, if it's gotten muddled, because I'm watching it get muddled, I'm witnessing it get muddled all over the place, muddled, muddled. If it's gotten muddled, pull back. It's your consciousness. You have authority over your consciousness. You can choose what you do with it, right? So that's a suggestion. I'm throwing it out there. I am. And it kind of ties into where we're going next. I have no idea how long this message will be, but I felt the need to, I don't know, express it. Many people here have heard me say that for me, we're all just beautiful stories. We're all just beautiful stories. That, yes, we are lovely stories, and everyone's a beautiful story, and all the stories that have ever been, and isn't it amazing? We're just the most amazing stories that have ever been written as we are writing in the moment. I say that a lot, and I don't know if it offends people or not. I don't know. Because I'm sure as us humans like to think of ourselves very grandiose, you know. And it's like, I'm more than a story. Are ya? Are ya? The point for this one right now is because we are at a time, current October 2025, where full self-acceptance and self-love is knocking at your door, knocking and knocking and knocking. What does that have to do with stories? So, the reason I say that a lot is that we're all just stories, is because I know many in these communities that Stars of Morning Light is a part of. There are so many people that would love to know their past lives, that would love to know their past lives. And mostly, and kudos to them, they want to know to be able to identify the karma that they believe is attached to them so they can then, learn their lesson, sort it out, what have you. That is the majority. So, what if I were to ask you, what if you were not able to know all of your past lives? What if you've been here a million years? A million. What if you have been coming back and back and back and back and back for a million lives, right? Who knows? It's not really possible. It's not really possible. But it doesn't matter if we have full memory of who we are. We don't need it in order to accept and love ourselves. We don't need it to identify the karma and learn our life lessons, which is not really life lessons. I have said this many a times over. Many a times over, we're not learning something new. We're not. We're not learning lessons. Karma or ongoing themes in your current life that are attached to past lives, right? Ongoing energy themes within a soul group, within soul contracts, what have you. They're not attached to this idea of lessons. They are attached to awareness. They are attached to remember. Remember. And then we go, but isn't that against your argument, Courtney? Of you just said we don't have to remember all of our lives? You don't, because you've lived this one, you can remember this one, and you have all the stories. You have all the stories. Before I go into the key of why stories are so valuable, let's talk about this whole idea about lessons. You're not learning anything new. There's nothing new under the sun. You're not. This is not you learning. This is you loving. This is you loving or not. It's not that hard. It's either you loving or not loving, in love or not in love. It's all choice. It's all choice. So when themes keep coming back around, and I'm sure even in your own life, it's come back around a few times. It's come back around. Why do I keep coming back to this? What's going on? Is there a contract I need to break? Is there some kind of karma I need to break? No. You noticed, you acknowledged, okay, this is a pattern. Choose differently. That's it. Choose differently. And the only reason we keep running through the same patterns over and over and over again is because A, we don't trust enough to choose differently because we want to know all the stuff. We want to have all the information before we make a choice. No, choose differently. That's it. And we don't really fully break a cycle, break a pattern, break karma without the loving of the self and the forgiveness of self and the trust of self. See, why would we need to have all the evidence to make a better choice with things that are outside of ourselves if we loved and trusted ourselves completely? Then it wouldn't matter what's going on around. We choose. Hmm. Hmm. And most of us can't get to that self, that full self-acceptance, love, because we haven't acknowledged that we have to forgive ourselves. And this is the tricky part, okay? And this is where the stories come in. We have to forgive ourselves for everything that we've ever done, past, present, all of the lives, all of the lives. Forgive yourself for all that you've done in all of the lives. But I don't know my lives, Courtney. You just told me that I didn't need to, but yet this sounds like I need to, right? No, you don't need to know them because the beautiful stories that we have from ancient Mesopotamia to the frontier times here in the state to when in Rome, right? As the Romans did and do, right? All of them, all of the beautiful, most wonderful stories that we have. That is you. That is you. All of the stories of all the pains, all the triumphs, all the wars, all the hurts, all the kings, all the queens, all the peasants, all the slaves. That is you. That is you. Hey, you. All of those stories, there is no separation from the story you're current living to all the stories that have come before. You also lived those experiences. You lived those experiences. It wouldn't matter if you were maybe a slave traded here or a slave traded in Europe, in where all over Europe, really. It didn't matter if you were um, in the Pacific Islands and something tragic happened to you. It does not matter. We have the stories here that when we read them and we go, that's me. That is me. That is also me. That is also me. That is also me. That is also me. Because you've experienced all of that. All of that. This is very Joseph Campbell of me to say, like the hero's journey, right? Very Joseph Campbell. So we don't necessarily need to know all the little details of all of our past lives, because how could you do that if they're in the thousands? The stories we do have are a reflection of what we did live. There is no separation. We are them. They are us. There is no separation. So when I say you are the most beautiful, great story, is because when you read them and then you're in front of me right now, I see no separation. They're all you. This is why so many of the masters would talk about different aspects of the human experience and what to do with them, from Buddha and suffering to Christ and laying down judgment, love. All of it is because they knew these stories would be here. They knew all this would be here for us to go, that's my experience. That's my experience. So if it's your experience now, it's your experience always and forever has been. Even if you were a horrible tyrant, that was also you. A horrible, cruel ruler, that was also you. A horrible priest of a church that did awful things, that was you. If you were a young girl in Celtic Ireland that went through hardship, that was you. All of it is you. So take that in for a minute. All of it is you. And we think about all these stories. All of the stories from those who possibly or possibly didn't build the pyramids to those who ruled, to all the stories, to all the stories. All of them. And we don't need to know the entire truths of these stories. What difference does that make within the experience that is you? So instead of focusing on, oh man, I need to know all of my past lives to cure my karma, or I need to know all of my past lives to know what route to take. No, we need to acknowledge that there has never been any separation between who we are now and throughout all of the written history that we have. All of it you have experienced, good, bad, and indifferent. All of it you have experienced. Within that acknowledgement, then we can breathe in forgiveness. Forgiveness for ourselves. Forgiveness for all that we have done and not done. Forgiveness. Forgiveness, forgiveness, forgiveness. Forgiveness for all of it. Beautiful self-forgiveness. Beautiful self-forgiveness. For that self-acceptance. That love. That love as to why we chose to be here in the first place. That love as in we're not learning anything. Choosing love. So Self-forgiveness. The reason why that is such a blocker is because we live in the 3D world of judgment. I mean, we even judge the stories from ancient times to all the way through. We judge the stories that are a perfect reflection of who we are. This is why people say history repeats itself. It's because we just won't stop judging. And it starts with self. We forgive us, for we know not what we do. Forgive us, for we know not what we do. Forgive us, for we know not what we do. You're not separate from everyone else who needs to be forgiven. And for some reason, it is so hard to forgive ourselves. And so we wrap our minds in this whole like, this must be my karma. What do I gotta learn from this? You gotta love. That's it. Love. We make it so hard. We make it that we have to learn all of the details and the ins and outs and have all the facts and all the truths. We don't need that. We don't need that. That cycle, that's never ending. So if you feel like you need that, my heart goes out to you. My heart really goes out to you. The judgment. It is so hard. We can probably forgive others, but it's because we got that grandiose thing about us, right? This grandiose ego within us that, we can forgive them for they know not what they do. But we don't forgive ourselves, eh? We might not look at ourselves. Or we'll say we don't have all the information. Or we justify so much. Or we're not even acknowledging we gotta forgive ourselves. Or, that same ego grandiose mindset says, oh, we're the worst that's ever been. We're the scum of the earth, right? It's either or, and it's all grandiose ego keeping you from forgiving yourself to allow the full self-acceptance to enter and be fully present so you can stand in your authenticity and allow then the world to do as the world does as you embrace the full conscious awareness that could be yours right now. Could be yours right now. But judgment, self-judgment, judgment, all of this starts with self. And every great philosopher, psychiatrist, master has always said that. We're not actually able to fully love, to completely love, like a master can, like God can. We're not able to fully do that, as they have all stated, unless we love ourselves first. Well, therefore, we have to forgive ourselves and accept ourselves in our totality. And if we can't attach ourselves to our past lives, so be it. You are every single story that's ever been told. So there you go. That's your free pass. That is your free pass straight to I accept and I forgive myself. So then you can actually develop and adopt and obtain the self-trust connected to that self-love to go out there and create, to go out there and not worry about what's going on, to make different choices that end karma in its flippin' tracks. Because you said, I know who I am. I love myself. I'm going to keep on going and choose very different than I ever have before. Because when trust and love are present within completely. You go out and you create and you don't worry. You don't worry about what's going on. You don't worry about it. Self-love, trust starts with forgiving. Forgive yourself for all that has ever been. And if you don't know what's all been, you got the stories telling you so. That's why I've always said that. You are the most amazing story. Everyone is the everyone is the most amazing, complex, human worthy story I you could ever possibly imagine. You are human worthy. You ever thought of it that way? You are human worthy. I am honored to be a human. Honored that when I made the choice to be here, I was accepted in. To be here, to be a human. It's amazing. But that's because I know that I am a human living a spiritual experience. You know why? Because I forgave myself. I love myself completely. I trust myself completely. And man, I create. So I think I drummed that home, hopefully, well enough. If not, maybe listen to it again because it's for all of you. Hey, you, it's time. And this is a nice little last little tidbit. This is a big shout out to Chloe from Chloe's Crystals. Chloe, when I was live, I think the last time that I did a hangout with Courtney Ask Anything, you had asked me in the chat about comets, are comets angels? I did not interpret that question correctly. I just didn't. I didn't. So then I was talking to Shelley, Seeker of Truth, and I told her, I said, I don't think I interpreted that correctly. I believe Chloe meant, like when you see a comet in the sky, or if it seems like real close to you, could that be an angel like flying or moving? That's what I believe you meant, Chloe. That's not how I interpreted that. So, yes, my dear, uh, angels, if they're traveling, and a few other beings, entities, uh, they can, yes, they can look like comets. Yes. Yes. So to make that real easy, I interpreted the question wrong. But I want to make a comment about comets. I want to say something about this. So, and this comes from a conversation I did have with Seeker of Truth that I just take for granted, I guess, that people know these things, but that's what I'm here for, to reveal, right? Because I am a chosen one that has always meant a revealer of God's secrets. Forgive yourself, trust yourself, accept yourself, stand in your authenticity for complete love. Because you are a chosen one. You can do it. So, with comets, oftentimes, beloveds, when we see comets and they appear so close, like, are you traveling with me? You're right here, you know? That is actually a most beautiful sign to pay attention to what you're doing because it actually, in that moment, is when you need to make some big changes, choices in that moment. So, beloveds, pay attention if you are driving in the car, if you're taking a hike, if you're whatever you might be doing, you're on the L train somewhere. That's how we commute in Chicago, the L train. If you're doing something like that and you see a comet and it seems very close, that is a very big celestial sign for you to, yeah, whatever you got going on, it's probably one of those patterns that needs to stop. Choose differently. And I've always worked that way. That's why it's always look to the skies, look to the skies. And when we get the stories about the comets, isn't there a massive change after that? Well, that's for the collective and the individual, but it's still based on our human free will choice. So, yes, beautiful Chloe. If that is what your question was, yes, angels, if they are moving about with some also other entities, they can appear as comets to our eyes, okay, to our human eyes. Also, comets by themselves and or a representation like that, most of the time it's for you to kind of pause, look at what's going on, and see it as a celestial event for you. And when something like that happens, it's to go, wait a minute, what's going on? I'm so human worthy that the celestial entities want to inform me, hey, you, do it differently, choose differently. I'll put that out there. And I hope that actually resonates with some people. And it's funny because us humans, we say we wish upon a shooting star. How often is that wish for something to change? It's because that shooting star is trying to remind you that's your choice. You can make a wish and you hold on to it with hope because hope is mightier than that comet. I love you all. Cheers. Keep shining, stars.